Well, good evening, everybody. And tonight I'm going to discuss a hypothetical murder. But first, I want to get a little bit of breaking news out of the way. I have been receiving information that it doesn't look like this coming week is going to be a very good one um, for the High Command and Timmy Holmseth himself. It seems to be there's a lot of talk going on between some very important parties, and information has been sent to one individual in particular. And in light of what has been going on over the past week, uh, it looks like if the rumor turns out to be true, that things aren't going to be pleasant for Mr. Holmseth. And this basically has to do with the battle between Tim Holmseth and Lynn Wood. Now, I'm going to get into some interesting developments tomorrow as well, since there seems to be a possible connection uh, between Timmy and another high profile uh, CPS related child case, and might explain to some degree why Tim Holmseth was photographed in front of a yacht in Alabama. So I will have more on that tomorrow. This is a late breaking development. I'm in the process of going through the material uh, to get the appropriate background for tomorrow's discussion. Now, what I want to talk about is the hypothetical murder. Now, as some of you may know, over almost the past decade, Timothy Charles Holmseth has claimed that everybody's out to kill him. Yeah, Greg Sawyer, Kim Picasio, the former vice president of the United States. One was a male, an individual dressed in a U.S. Post Office uniform, driving a UPS truck with a FedEx package, or whatever variations there is. But at any rate, he has gone into this I am the target of assassination now quite intensely over the past week. And actually, you might say it's been going on for the past month. And I've been implicated into all of it. I've been told I look like Whitey Bulger. I look like the guy on the bridge in Delphi. And, you know, this has been played over and over and over and over again. Over this recent times on his Bitchute account. And there have been questions being raised as well that it may not be Timmy doing all this stuff. It may be those are within the responsibility, I should say, of these entries, videos, posts, and what have you have been done by his trustees. These small group of individuals that working behind the scenes to do his stuff in his name, but he's not actually doing that much of anything. Now, he might be writing some of it, but what he is writing might be from a script or his being told what to write. In other words, Timothy Charles Holmseth is being very, very strictly controlled. He is under the watchful eyes of these trustees. He's allowed very little freedom. if any, and anything that he does on videos like this visit to Lynn Wood's ranch uh, is strictly controlled. Now, if you recall, when Tim Holmseth goes to these various places and wants to prove he's there, he's got a camera rolling and he's talking to a guy in a pickup truck, or he's standing in front of the sign for Lynn Wood's estate, and so on and so forth. Well, the question you have to ask yourself, what do you mean you lost me? I'm right here. I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to have to go off for a second. I gotta sneeze. Well, maybe a false alarm. I thought I was going to sneeze, but, I got the tickle in the nose, but I'll deal with it. But anyway, as I was saying, when you see videos like the one of him speaking with the man in the pickup truck, somebody else is taking the pictures. It's not Tim putting up a camera on a timer or just putting a camera there and photographing himself. There is somebody with him. And this is true of all the yacht pictures. There is somebody taking those pictures. They are not being done by Tim himself, because there's no such thing as a selfie stick that's 20 feet long. When you're as familiar with photography as I am, you learn to look for depth of field, try to figure out the distance from the subject and the camera. And so there is someone there taking pictures of Holmseth at these various locations. Now, there may be a couple notable exceptions where he holds the book up in front of a courthouse. That is a selfie. He's holding the phone here. He brings the book up in front of his face, and that's close range. But other pictures, there's somebody with Tim Holmseth at all times, which means he's being kept an eye on. There's a traveling companion with him. It could be any number of these 6 or 7 people that are part of the trustee group. Now, why am I bringing up this subject of murder? Hypothetical murder, but murder nonetheless. Well, the answer is this. And Task Force is in here. Probably wondering why this subject is coming up. In Task Force, this concerns you. There is a term used in business that when we notice that a business is going a certain way, we, quote, cut our losses. And we may be seeing this when it comes to Timothy Charles Holmseth. He is getting way out of control. He's got the Flynn people mad at the high command. He's got now the Wood people mad at the high command. And because Timothy Charles Holmseth has gone against the both of them. And the reason he has gone after Lynn Wood is he claims that he gave Lynn Wood super critical, super secret documents, and it was done through a trusted friend. And these super secret documents are very, very important. And for whatever reason, Lynn Wood has taken credit for these to himself in a sort of, the word escapes me, but plagiarism, yeah. Lynn Wood is being accused by Timothy Charles Holmseth of a kind of plagiarism. He's taking work that supposedly is Timmy's and making it his own. And he's basically pushed Tim Holmseth out of the picture. He's ignoring Tim. Even when Tim goes down to this ranch that he supposedly said he did, he gets rebuffed. And I'm going to touch on, this is part of the breaking news, and I'm going to touch on tomorrow. A lot is going on right now. And Timmy is not going to be happy when he finds out, and neither are the trustees. Because this is going to throw one huge wrench in what they've been trying to do, which is basically get Tim Holmseth in front of a more widespread audience and get him as close to mainstream as possible. And along with that would be fame, fortune, attention, and credit. And that's not happening. But the buildup is there. And even though these people probably realize that they're going to fail in getting Lynn Wood's attention, and that it's more likely things are going to get worse, they have to come up with a way of dealing with this. And this is where the subject of the hypothetical murder comes in. Now, let's look at a case that is working its way through the courts, which has a parallel to this, and it also has a Tim Holmes connection. And that is the trial of Neely Petrie Blanchard, who has confessed to murdering Christopher C. Hallett of E-Clause. Now, we have had this claim that Christopher Hallett filed some super duper secret stuff with the Marion County Court. And so we have Timothy Charles Holmseth and the trustees saying that the reason why all these papers were filed, it was another one of these super duper toppy secret things that are out there, this big plot by these individuals to kidnap, rape, eat, and exploit children. All these pedophiles that are running around, all part of the whatever. And that Chris Hallett was murdered because of it. It's not the truth, of course. The truth is this. Christopher C. Hallett and Neely Petrie Blanchard were extremely close. He had originally came into the situation of trying to help Neely get custody of her children away from Child Protective Services in Kentucky. He told her that he knew President Trump personally. He knew all these high-ranking officials within the United States government, that he was a contractor to go in and do all these audits and do damage control or something. And he was a big shot, knew all these people. Well, Neely learned that this was not true, and she learned some other things. Neely Blanchard learned that Christopher Hallett would not ever succeed in getting custody of her children back to her. Chris Hallett was not capable of doing so, and in fact, Neely Blanchard came to realize that Chris Hallett was actually working against her getting her children back. Chris Hallett apparently came to the conclusion that Neely Blanchard was an unfit mother and that there was no way in hell that she should have custody of her children. And when Neely Petrie Blanchard found out, Neely Petrie Blanchard got extremely angry, procured a firearm, went to Ocala, Florida, to the residence of Christopher C. Hallett, and proceeded to execute him. She originally fired a round of shots into Mr. Hallett. Noticed that there was a witness who was his female companion and her daughter standing there. She aimed the gun at them. The gun jammed. She stopped to repair the weapon, and this gave time for the mother and daughter to get the hell out of there. And once the firearm was repaired, she unloaded the rest of the bullets into Mr. Hallett. She then left the scene, got as far as Valdosta, Georgia, where she was apprehended, extradited back to the state of Florida, to Marion County, where she sits in jail awaiting trial for aggravated first-degree murder using a firearm, which is capital murder, and she qualifies for the death penalty. Now, the defense is going to argue innocent by reason of insanity or not guilty by reason of insanity, saying that she temporarily went insane, she went into a blind rage, and that caused her to lose all control, and she murdered Chris Hallett in cold blood. Now, in normal circumstances, you would think if someone like Nellie Blanchard found out that she had been betrayed, that they wouldn't go to the extreme of murdering the betrayer. So, what is going on here? Well, according to the High Command, the Task Force, Timothy Holmseth, and these trustees, Chris Hallett had all this big secret stuff going on. There's a receipt out there that is supposed to prove that Chris Hallett had filed something with the Marion County Federal Court, and he was murdered because of it, and Nellie Blanchard was the patsy who was chosen to murder him, or at least make it appear like she murdered him. But this is where an important point needs to be made. Now, there is an alleged connection between Nellie Blanchard, Christopher C. Hallett, Randy Lynn Erickson, Timothy Charles Holmseth, Kirk Pendergrass, and some other people. It's all one big circle of influence here. And it is alleged that Nellie Petrie Blanchard had contact with all of these people and also with Phil McConnell. Now, the hypothetical here in this particular scenario is that everybody remembered that Nellie has a history of extraordinary violence. She once tried to run her mother over with her car because her mother was interfering with her visitation with her children. And there were other things that happened where she went to the school and there was a violent incident at the school. So it was well known by this group that Nellie Petrie Blanchard had a violent hair trigger temper and that she was prone to act out violently. Now, it is my opinion that someone worked on Nellie, groomed her, kept saying over and over and over again, you are being betrayed. Chris Hallett is a liar. He is not helping you. He is working against you. I have heard that he is actually working with CPS to prevent you from getting your children back. And they played it over and over like a broken record, day after day after day, hour after hour, getting Randy groomed. It's like a volcano getting ready to erupt. It just kept building, building. The pressure was building, the steam was building, the lava was flowing. And then at the right moment, one final thing was said, or something was said, that made her snap. And when she snapped, she blindly went, found a gun, took that gun to Ocala, and executed Chris Hallett. So what was the end result of all of this? The end result is Neely Blanchard went to prison. Chris Hallett became a martyr. Chris Hallett, to this day, is looked at as a hero figure. He was doing all this work of finding out what's going on with the deep state and all these plots. And right when he found very, very, very important information that had come from the almighty Timothy Charles Holmseth, he rather conveniently was murdered. Now, it's interesting that Task Force is saying that this is a fantasy because this theory came from Tim Holmseth, that Chris Hallett was murdered because of all the stuff that was going on. The paperwork, the receipt, the auditing, all of this. This came out of the mouth of Randy Lynn Erickson, came out of postings by the trustees. So it's not a fantasy. They said that this is true, that Neely Petrie Blanchard was a scapegoat. She was a patsy. She was set up. They admitted it. Okay. But I don't care if they think it's a fantasy or not. Remember, this is a hypothetical. And apparently, Task Force has never heard of a hypothetical or what it means, which is fine. Now, how does this relate to Timothy Charles Holmseth? Well, we have a parallel here. Timothy Charles Holmseth claims to be third in line to the President of the United States. Timothy Charles Holmseth claims to have hugely important information that is going to basically make all the people in the deep state scared to the core. Everybody's going to go to jail. Everybody's going to go to prison. All this is going to happen. And because of this, Timothy Charles Holmseth is scared that he is going to be executed in the same way that Christopher Hallett was executed. That the deep state are going to find him and they're going to kill him. And so all these videos are coming out about Delphi, about Whitey Bulger, about Craig Sawyer, Kim Picasio, all this stuff. It's on Bitchute, it's on Telegram, it's on Gab, it's on Rumble, it's all over the domestic terrorist social media websites. And they're building this up so that when Timothy Charles Holmseth takes that dirt nap, guess who's going to get the blame? I'm going to get the blame. Craig is going to get the blame. Kim Picasio is going to get the blame. All of us in this so-called group are going to get blamed for his murder. And that is their plan. Their plan is to pin this on us. And what they're more than likely doing in this hypothetical is that they are grooming someone who Timmy trusts and Timmy has no fear of in this very close group to turn against Timmy. It's probably another Neely who thought that these people were going to help them out, get their children back, get their problem solved, and they're going to put the buzz in their ear and groom them to say, hey, Timmy's not who he says he is. Timmy's not going to help you out. In fact, Timmy has turned against you. Timmy has come to the conclusion that you do not deserve to have your problem solved, and he is actually working against you getting your problem solved. And they do this day by day by day, by hour by hour, by minute, until that person snaps, and then Timmy winds up dead. And then here comes the task force saying the deep state did it. The deep state is responsible. And as law enforcement would have to do, they have to talk to everybody. And so we're going to have law enforcement come to our door, collective doors, and they're going to ask us, did you have anything to do with the death of Timothy Charles Holmseth? Where were you on such and such a day and such an hour and such a location? And of course, we all have alibis, because nobody in their right mind is going to murder Timothy Charles Holmseth because it's not worth it. I mean, the guy runs around in a car taking pictures of buildings, stalking Lynn Wood, and wears basically the same clothes day in and day out. And, he is under the thumb of these people. And so nobody is going to murder Tim Holmseth except someone who has a vested interest in doing so, someone who would benefit from his death, and that would be his trustees, because Timmy would be worth more dead than alive. He just think of all the donations that would come pouring in to help bury Tim, pay the funeral expenses, donations to help his daughters and his grandchild in this time of mourning and sadness, and the donations that would come in to continue his great work. Maybe someone would write a book about Timmy and what a hero he was, and maybe one of the alt-right people would make a independent movie, and Timmy in death would become more famous than alive, just like Christopher Hallett, just like Cappy, and just like Robert David Steele, and all these other so-called heroes who have passed away and are talked about more in their death than they were ever talked about in life. The pattern is there. The motive is there. The opportunity is there. It's just a matter of time before somebody does it. And who knows? Maybe they'll blame the attorney, Mr. Wood. Because with Timothy out of the picture, all sorts of people can be blamed for this. And the thing of it is here, just like with Neely Blanchard, the person that did the dirty deed of giving Tim Holmseth his newfound fame and death is going to take the fall. That person is going to be sitting in jail, awaiting trial, fighting the death penalty if it happens in the death penalty state. And that person is, unless they can provide to authorities specific evidence that they were groomed for the task, it's going to be another case of getting away with murder. Because hypothetically, these people have gotten away with the murder of Christopher Hallett by inciting Neely Blanchard into murdering Chris Hallett, on their behalf, therefore making Christopher Hallett a martyr, a hero, someone to be talked about, someone to say that he was doing all this really, really, really important stuff on the behalf of Timothy Charles Holmseth and the trustees. So that's that part of it. And so now, with the same thing happening with Tim Holmseth, they say, well, it worked good. It worked the first time with Chris Hallett. It should work great with Tim Holmseth, and we eliminate two problems. Timothy Charles Holmseth is getting out of control. They probably didn't know that Tim Holmseth was going to attack Lynn Wood, or that their plan to attack Lynn Wood has backfired, and now Lynn is being accused of being infiltrated, and now Tim Holmseth is likely to come out and say that Lynn Wood is plotting to murder him. And if Tim Holmseth conveniently winds up dead, then Lynn Wood is going to be the first person to talk to when the investigation starts. And this is all going to be built up. They probably have the script all written out that the day Tim Holmseth dies, this is all going to be put into effect. The blame is going to be out there. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see all these donations, appeals, programming, possibly an independent film, probably a book written by one of the trustees, detailing the history of Tim Holmseth and why he was constantly chased down and threatened with murder. And they may even try and blame Vice President Pence again. The Vice President of the United States wanting an unemployed pizza delivery driver dead. This is the direction we're going with all this. So, this is the hypothetical that I came in here with tonight. Now, it may not happen, but it's always there. And if I were Timothy Charles Holmseth, I would be very worried, because the backstabbing came about from someone getting stabbed in the back by a trusted friend, Julius Caesar, the Ides of March. That is where the backstabbing came from. He trusted everybody around him, and then one day somebody came up and Julius Caesar was no longer mortal. Now, this is Task Force made a comment here. And come on, get up in the room. Oops, wrong one. Okay. Always trying to frame people. That is exactly what they are doing. They are trying to frame people. Who is it that put out the statement that I look like Whitey Bulger? Who is it that put out that I look like the bridge guy in the Delphi murders of the two teenagers? Who is it that keeps calling me an alleged serial rapist, an alleged serial killer? What are they trying to frame me for? Are they trying to frame me for the Delphi murders? Are they trying to frame me for whatever it is that Whitey Bulger is responsible for? It is Task Force and Timothy Charles Holmseth that are doing the framing here. And they're doing this on purpose. They are framing all of us in order to cover up a possible murder plot against Tim Holmseth. There's the saying, keep your enemies close, but keep your friends closer. There has been story after story through eons, the centuries, and the millennia about someone being betrayed and murdered by their friends. It happened to me personally. The people that damaged and destroyed my live streams were supposedly my friends, my administrator and the people under her who were supposed to keep my channel secure. They did just the opposite. They betrayed me because a sister of one of the staffers was outed as a confessed unregistered sex offender, and they were saying that the children were coerced and the children lied, and I wouldn't allow this on my channel, so they turned against me because they would not believe the children. They would not believe that the children saw their aunt or their stepmother lying on a table exposing her sex organs and watching their father perform sex on this woman. And even with proof that one of the children had taken pictures of the incident, and this is how they were discovered, they still went with the children lied. And all the material that's been put out there, the chat, all this stuff has been the result of vigilantism on the part of these women and someone that they worked with to create the fake chats. They simply gave out their login information to my live stream that I had at the time and allowed them to post things in my name on the internet, which was conveniently photographed, and the rest is history. This is what Tim Holmseth is using to frame me. And look at the history of Tim Holmseth. He has framed Mr. Cater, who was his best friend up in East Grand Forks. The guy actually kept his car for him so it wouldn't be impounded. He stored all of Timothy's personal belongings. He accepted Timmy's mail at his post office box. So he was technically aiding and abetting a fugitive from justice. And what happened? One of the trustees convinced Timothy Charles Holmseth, the Chad Cater, and another individual from that part of Minnesota was working against him and helping Kim Picasio hunt him down. And Tim Holmseth was persuaded to take the power of attorney away from Chad Cater, and this was the beginning of the isolation of Tim Holmseth. Now, just how much control does the trustee have over Tim Holmseth? Well, there's this post that was made on one of the social media websites. And this is an example of framing me. William Murtaugh regularly uses the term tidy whities to refer to the traditional style of men's generic white underpants. Now, where did the term tidy whities come from? Some of the people who are either currently or are going to hear this broadcast later on are going to realize that there is one individual out there who came up with this term, and that individual is a woman by the handle of Astro X. She now goes by the username "The Time Has Come," or at least that's her tagline on her Twitter account. She is the one that coined this phrase. She is the one that has been obsessed with Timothy Holmseth and me and Levi and Kim Picasio for over a decade. So let's go on. Proof of merch stalking. petitioner of a federal lawsuit that will go down in the history of lawsuits, was on assignment with her reporter, Timothy Charles Holmseth. Erickson had purchased Holmseth a pack of Fruit of the Loom woven white boxers. Now notice that we've got details of the kind of underwear that Timmy possesses. He doesn't possess tidy whities, he possesses boxers. Now this reminds me of a commercial that a very famous basketball player was in, and there was always the question of what kind of underwear that he wore. Now, Fruit of the Loom makes both kinds, but it was either boxers or briefs. Tidy whities in this case is basically what's known as briefs. You know, weird that we're talking about underwear, but this is the world of Timothy Holmseth we're talking about. Now, Erickson had purchased Holmseth a pack of Fruit of the Loom woven white boxers while Holmseth was in the showers. Erickson noticed one of the boxer shorts Holmseth had taken out of the package and put next to his pajamas looked tampered with. DNA was planted in them to frame Holmseth for a crime. Erickson informed Holmseth and they burned the pack of underwear. Now, this is probably one of the weirdest posts I have seen in a long time, because somehow someone was able to take a pack of Fruit of the Loom boxer underwear and place it in the point of purchase, probably a Walmart, in such a way that Randy Erickson would pick up that underwear and would take it to Tim. And then somehow, in some way, the police would show up and arrest Timmy for some crime involving his DNA being on that underwear. Now, this is the part that's hard to figure. Now, perhaps the DNA would be from a child or a victim of a crime, a rape or something. So they plant this stuff on Timmy so that Timmy gets arrested and charged with this crime. There are so many holes in this theory that, number one, there's the question of alibi. All Tim Holmseth has to prove is where he was and what he was doing on any given day that would not relate to whatever crime that he was being framed for, and this would be the end of it. So this is yet another one of these things where Tim Holmseth claims, either himself or through this proxy that wrote this comment, that he had been a target. There was the mirror in his car that was dislocated, and apparently someone, according to Timmy, had tried to put drugs in the car so that they could come back at a later time and arrest Timmy for drug possession. And then there's the time that his tire was stabbed 5 times, and Timmy claimed that it was somebody that he knew that was getting revenge for something that happened. And this turned out to be blatantly impossible. The person who serviced the tires said the person who would have had to do that would have had to have extremely quick reflexes and also been extremely small, because any normal-sized person would have been crushed by the car. And I demonstrated how that would have happened. Then, on the way to court, Timothy Charles Holmseth gets pulled over by a local cop. And the reason Tim Holmseth gets pulled over is because he didn't bother to fasten his seatbelt. But instead of telling the The officer, look, officer, I'm sorry. I'm on the way to court, and it just slipped my mind. He probably would have been let off with a warning. He sat there and said, I'm taking your picture, cop, because I'm scared. I think you're trying to get me in a situation where I'm either going to get arrested or I'm going to have harm done to me. So Tim Holmseth is the victim again. And this is on top of him claiming that the vice president of the United States was trying to assassinate him, and he was saved by the 6 Navy SEALs, and he had to go out and try to get money to pay for the 6 Navy SEALs, just like he went out and tried to get money to fix his car because the transmission had gone out of it. And guess who paid to fix his car to the tune of $5,000, and then turned around and bought him another one. Bought him the white Nissan Rogue that he drove around. This is this eternal victim, and this is how this buildup has happened. Excuse me. Now, Timmy. Now we go on with this. Mert speaks in code words, and anytime Murtaugh uses the phrase tighty-whities, he is signaling to the operatives to frame Tim Holmseth for a crime. This is a part of Mert's twisted Operation Chaos. Well, anybody that was around at the time of Operation Chaos understands what it entailed. That I went up to Minnesota, A, to talk to the FBI, and 2, to do a documentary on Field McConnell and Tim Holmseth and how these two shaped social media in this small area of social media. That Operation Chaos did accomplish what it set out to do. It created chaos. But we have this constant buildup over and over and over and over again. And the excuses. Now, she says that, Mert, you're making this up. He was baited. How is he baited? Who baited him? What was he baited? Yeah, there's so many things going on here, it's hard to know what he was baited to do. And if he was baited, then that means that Tim Holmseth does not have the street smarts to prevent himself from being baited, and that's what they are doing right now. They are baiting him. Hour by hour, day by day, minute by minute. He is under this extremely tight control by the task force and the other trustees, and his head is being filled with all this nonsense, and eventually it can be used as an excuse that we will be the ones to be framed. We will be the one to be accused once this is okay. Valen Breed said that he was belted, seatbelt. No, he was not. Because if he had his seatbelt on, then why did he tell the cop in the recording, I am on my way to court. I forgot to fasten my seatbelt. Tim Holmseth has been cited before for not wearing his seatbelt. Randy was cited for not wearing her seatbelt. At the time this was going on, there was a campaign going on in the state of Minnesota to pull over people that were not wearing seatbelts. It happens every once in a while. So, but I saw the video. He was not wearing a seatbelt. It's clear in the video. Go find the video and watch it. He had himself in the picture. There is no seatbelt on. So it's another lie that Holmseth told, or is told for him by the trustees. There is no way to prove that what we see written on Telegram, Bitchute, Rumble, and anywhere else that Tim Holmseth's name appears is his. There's no way to tell that it is him writing this stuff. Now, he may get on Telegram and say, do an audio and says, look, I'm the one writing this stuff. Well, how are you going to prove it? Because anybody can write under a byline. I mean, the chat that Timmy uses against me wasn't written by me. It was written by somebody else. He's even admitted it. He says someone using my name, which means he understands that there is the distinct possibility that I was not the one that wrote that chat. And, well, Blades, I'll tell you something about the book. Number one, it's an agonizingly difficult thing to write. Now, it's possible he wrote it because the book came about before he met the trustees. He was basically alone for years. And it was just before the campaign of Donald Trump that all this started to come together. And Randy Erickson admitted it was her that met Tim Holmseth and basically took over his life. I mean, it's right here in this post. She's buying the guy his underwear. I mean, Randy Erickson's married to another man, and she's buying this guy underwear. And where was she when she saw this pair of underwear that Tim Holmseth had taken off? Had she been in the shower with him? Was she in the bathroom while he's taking a bath? Was she maybe soaping him down while he's taking a bath? What the hell was Randy Erickson doing in the bathroom of a man she was not married to that was not her husband? I mean, kind of interesting when you think about it here. Here is a married woman, older than Timothy Holmseth, buying him underwear and being in the bathroom while Timothy Holmseth is taking a shower. And buying him a specific kind of underwear. She's buying him boxers. Did Timothy Charles Holmseth always wear boxers? I mean, there was something against briefs. Some men do not feel comfortable wearing boxers. There's a couple interesting reasons for that. But, men might get stimulated by the boxers, and then all of a sudden you got this protrusion. And it's also for support. But, But anyway, that is my monologue for tonight. That I would probably watch very closely what happens from this day forward. And those of you who are the targets of Tim Holmseth, who are being accused and framed by Holmseth, keep track of every minute of every day of where you are, what you're doing, and who you're doing it with. Because when Timothy Charles Holmseth is taking his dirt nap, the man with the badge is going to be knocking on your door, and the first question out of their mouth is, where were you when? And you will have your alibi there. Uh, his pants, apparently, when you probably are talking about the uh, picture of his son in girls' clothing. In the picture, a pair of pants is on the floor next to him, and it's the brown pair of pants we almost see Tim Holmseth in just about every day in his shots. Even the latest picture that we see of Tim Holmseth allegedly at Lynn Wood's plantation, he is wearing the same pants. You know, maybe he's got 10 pairs of the same color. Typical car dealer pants where, you know, if you ever go into a showroom, a lot of car dealers wear khaki pants and white shirts. It's kind of like they have uniforms. Others will probably, if they're a factory dealer, they'll have the logo of the car. No, he does not. He never wears jeans that I have seen. Now he might, but every picture I've seen of Timothy Charles Holmseth have been in khakis. You know, he could be that man from State Farm by the booth, the guy with the red shirt and the khakis. He always wears khakis, and usually in warmer weather he wears undershirts. Not t-shirts, mind you, but undershirts. There's a difference. He wears undershirts. So, you know, there are a few times when he'll wear other shirts, or he'll wear the woolen sweater. I've seen the woolen sweater on him at least 2 times. One, when he was in the basement living room of somebody or in his car, and in the picture of him in front of the yacht. He's wearing that same sweater jacket thingy. So he has a very limited wardrobe. Which begs the question, how often does he take a shower? You know, does he wear the same clothes 3, 4, 5 days in a row, a week in a row, and then finally the smell gets so intense that he has to take a bath or take a shower? Now, we know by this post that he takes a shower. You know, that's what people do when they turn adults. Now, you know, this is... Wonder what happened to his self-esteem? I don't know as if he ever had self-esteem. He has been dependent on other people for quite a long time. Now, granted, it's alleged that when he lived in the Section 8 housing in East Grand Forks, that he was so depressed that his apartment was a mess, an absolute mess. He had clothing piled all over the floor. He hadn't taken a bath in a long time, which is where Randy allegedly stepped in. And it was said in stuff that she wrote that's attributed to her that she came to the aid of Timothy Holmseth. She bought him the underwear. She bought him his clothes. She paid for his car. She paid for his food. She helped clean up his apartment. I mean, she became his mother / companion / trustee. She became his power of attorney. She has taken over his social media assets. She has named herself as a trustee. She declares that she purchased all his social media content, including the book. And so the clues are there. And he has got women so infatuated with him that they make love to their smartphone with his picture on it. One woman said that she even enlarges the picture of his face so she can kiss it on her phone. I don't think she realizes how dirty a smartphone screen is, but she admitted this in a live live stream that she is in love with Tim Holmseth. And there's more than one woman that does. So, there might be a jealous woman come into the picture. There might be a jealous husband or significant other come into the picture because this guy has taken their companion away from them. And so there could be the love triangle take place here. There's any number of ways that this hypothetical murder can take place. And I have to reiterate, especially for anyone that might be coming in from these alternate accounts, it is not to anyone's benefit who is an enemy of Holmseth, all the suspects that Holmseth has named, because that person would be risking their freedom. They would be risking the death penalty. Although I think law enforcement would celebrate the day that he assumed body temperature. But that aside, the law's the law. But nobody that is an enemy of Tim Holmseth, that he is named as an enemy of Holmseth, is going to kill him. It's not worth it. It's going to make matters worse. Because the minute Tim Holmseth dies, he becomes a martyr. He becomes an idol for people to look at. He becomes a god for people to worship. Because everybody can go around saying, look at this. Tim Holmseth sacrificed his life for the cause. He died for us. Just like Jesus died on the cross. He's already named himself an archangel coming to fight the devil. So he's kind of made himself out to be a deity. And so here we are. This guy going around and saying that he is so extraordinarily important that the world is out to do him in. And so when he disappears, dies, and somebody is named as the perpetrator, then the money's going to start pouring in. The book deals, the TV interviews, the social media interviews. The empire is going to grow on death more than it ever would in life. Yes, he did, Paula. The introduction to the book, and I'm going to bring myself back on camera now. Where's my, let me go in here and get rid of this thing. But this is the book. And in this book, he talks about having, quite literally, the devil, hell, right there in the introduction. Talks about a demon being in his intestine, eating his insides. This is a gross book. And he wrote in detail. He was so far gone because of his chemical dependency, his alcoholism, and possibly even on drugs, that he was dying on the floor of an insane asylum. And he admits it. Now, you have a man who got that intoxicated, that young. This happened back when he was very young when this happened. That he may have had brain damage because of alcohol. Read up on severe alcoholism. Someone who is an alcoholic to the point where they nearly die. They had to do artificial insemination or resuscitation. Boy, that'd be something. But they did artificial resuscitation to prevent him from dying. He was that close to dying. Lying on the floor of an insane asylum, having these weird dreams about demons eating his insides. And that is what inspired him to get involved in the Casey Anthony, or in the Haley Cummings case. And that is just the beginning. The book is filled with confessionals. Hi, Levi. Of Timothy Holmseth. Timothy Holmseth confessed to being a firebug. Him and his young companion at the time, in their backyard, started a bonfire. Now, a gust of wind could have come along and started either his house on fire or the neighbor's house on fire. As it happens, the woman who lived next door came out and caught them in the act and gave them a good ass reaming for starting this fire. And as it happens, and back then, there were unsolved arson cases in the area where Timmy lived. It's a matter of public record. People can go over and read it. You know, that there were these people were starting these weird fires. I mean, you know, nobody burned a warehouse or anything, but it was these weird little fires. Trash started on fire. Somebody started a woodshed on fire. So weird little acts of arson. And as far as I know, they either haven't caught the person who did it, or if they did, they haven't named that individual. Now, if the individual was a minor, underage, that would be sealed anyway. This was what was in that introduction to the book. That it's right there that he was getting into this fighting the devil and being acquitted from the crimes of the devil and so forth. And so this is a psychological trait that he has. But he is always, always, always the victim. It's always somebody out to get him, somebody out to kill him, somebody out to frame him, somebody out to put DNA in his underwear. You know, it's always this me. I mean, somebody actually put up a song, and the whole song is me. Always me. That's the one. I can't sing. But, you know, that's the eternal victim at play. And I have mentioned this time and again on this very channel, that somebody can't watch me because of the Ukraine. Well, I guess, well, that's fine. You know, if you're that narrow-minded and believe in the murder of women and children, then I guess you shouldn't watch. I mean, you're supporting the murder. You know, this is something I'm reading over on Telegram. This woman said I shouldn't talk about Timmy because I'd make more money if I'd stop talking about Timmy. Kind of an interesting insight. And I should lie about who I support politically so that I would make money. As if this is why, these people over there seem to think I'm in this for the money. I'm not. This is an archive. It's a record of what's happened to me and others because of these lies that are flying around the internet. And this is one of these things that has been happening. Everybody thinks that this is all political, that I'm a lefty that's against the righties and I'm against this, that, and the other thing. That's not entirely true. What I'm for here is the truth. I don't care about megas. I don't care about QAnons. I don't care about any of these people. What I care about is people who lie and make false accusations against people. And this is what's been going on against me and others for a decade. That these people constantly lie and they don't care. They know they're lying. And basically, it's one of these things you really can't do anything about it. You get a stalker that is obsessed with you and will not leave you alone and will not apologize, knowing that they're lying and knowing what they are doing to you, then what are you going to do? In my case, it's already too late. The damage has been done. It can never be repaired. I'm 71 years old. I can't start all over again. I can't go back to the days when I was living a comfortable life, had a nice house in the country, had all the comforts and everything. You know, those days are gone. You know, I live one day at a time, and my time on this planet is coming to an end. And what will I be known for? I'll be known for being a serial rapist, a pedophile, someone who eats babies, all because of Timothy Holmseth and his trustees. And the only thing I have to wonder is, am I going to outlive Timmy? Maybe. Because whether Timmy realizes it or not, he's got a target on his back. And the target on his back is not me, it's not Craig Sawyer, it's not Kim Picasio. It's the trustees, those closest to him. Those people who know where Timothy Charles Holmseth is every minute of every day, that can go to Timothy Holmseth immediately, right now, and place his life in danger. It's those people that Timothy Holmseth needs to worry about. Not his enemies, but his friends, his trustees, those closest to him. Those are the people that Timmy need to worry about. All right. I'm having another conversation with somebody over on Telegram. I guess we're getting into a little social engineering here. Oh, this wrong phone. Phone number 3. Oh, they know where he is, Blades. Because remember, whenever you see Timothy Charles Holmseth in a video, it's rare. Someone has to be taking his picture. But I guarantee you, those closest to him, those helping him out, know where he's at. They know where he's at right now. Because they can't afford to have him go off on his own. They can't afford to let him wander off. Because he gets out of control. He goes off on tangents. I saw him literally freak out one day on one of his mobile phones. He started waving his arms around and screaming and using vulgar language. I mean, he blew his stack. And the gist of it was he was getting mad that people were not believing in him. And he went F this and F that and F. I mean, I lost count of how many times he threw the F-bomb in that monologue. And this is what's happening with Lynn Wood. He has gone out of control, demanding that Lynn Wood tell him who the trusted person was that gave Lynn Wood this material. And even the trustees are in on the game. There's people over on Telegram that are demanding that Lynn Wood come up with the name of the trusted person. I'm not so sure of that, Michael, because remember, the trustees acts as a group, and if I am sure they have it planned out that if and when Randy Erickson is arrested, that somebody else will take over the role and that this will continue. And if it turns out that Randy can no longer handle the situation, then that might be when this hypothetical murder takes place. Oh, we have another fake account coming back. Same person, same BS. But I'm going to wait. Yeah, this is Calvin Klein. Well, it's not Fruit of the Loom, so I know who that isn't. I don't know why you're a little late coming in, Astro. Well, this wouldn't be the first time he's been in a mental ward. His book gets into that. He admitted that he's been in a mental ward. So, oh, he's on TV again. Yeah. Okay, I'm not that obsessed with Joe Biden right now. I can't turn the TV on because of copyright. Well, that's always possible, Michael, but we would have heard about it by now. Uh, well, he's traveling around with somebody because the latest video, regardless of when it was taken, had to have been taken by a companion, somebody that's with him. It's just, the technology, he couldn't do it because he's not that knowledgeable of technology. He's not very good at it. And that's why you notice that the format of all his videos and everything changed once the trustees came on board. Yeah, I understand that the security system at the plantation is quite elaborate. There's cameras all over the place. And you got to remember that Lynn Wood is a high profile attorney. And so there's a necessity to have a high degree of security. It's one of the reasons he chose that place, is because the house is way, way, way back. I don't know if you can even see it from the road. So And if they got people like Tim Holmseth driving around, then they have to have they have to have these measures in place. I mean, look at it this way. Tim Holmseth shows up. A guy who is a caretaker, so to speak, or whatever he is, shows up at the gate. You can't even see the house from the gate. So how'd they know Timmy was there? They know he's there because the security cameras caught him. And so they have all that footage. So, they are aware of when somebody shows up. And if he's hanging around by that gate, they're going to come up there and find out what the hell he's up to. And the first time he was there, that's when he gave him the book. He didn't say anything about giving him papers. He just said he gave him a book. The papers came later. So, I was accused of stalking Lynn Wood, of going up to Lynn Wood, or not Lynn Wood, but Phil McConnell. Task Force said you were stalking Phil McConnell. You went to his house. Well, you just did the same damn thing. I mean, Timmy is on the property. It shows a picture of Tim on the property. He's trespassing. And he's already got a count of trespassing against him in the court records. And I don't know why Infiltrated can't find any information about this. I mean, it's all out there. Oh, Levi, one of Timmy's lovers wants me to embarrass you. Just thought I'd let you know that. She's probably in monitoring the channel again like she always does. I mean, this is the kind of people that hang around Tim Holmseth. They make these weird accounts showing people in their underwear, trying to get people fired from their jobs. They're degenerates. And this is why Timmy's attracted to these people, because they're just as whacked off as he is. And she can't use the same name. She has to keep changing her name. Well, it's possible. It's interesting though that the same time that Tim Holmseth was down at Lynn Wood's plantation is the same time that he was photographed in front of the two sailing yachts. That puts him, the day he took those two pictures was the day he went down to Lynn Wood's estate. And that coincides with the information that I had that the boat that he was in was for sale in the state of South Carolina. So they were probably in a hotel somewhere or camped out in a homeless camp. Boy, I'll tell you, some people just will not take no for an answer. Oh, of course the pictures were staged. I mean, he went up there to make a big show of trying to talk to Lynn Wood and probably knew that he wasn't going to get anywhere. At least the companion knew that. And I think it's going to backfire because information is getting to me, which if I get what I need, I will discuss it tomorrow, that Lynn Wood is getting fed up and that things are going to start happening to Timmy that he's not going to be happy about. And the trustees aren't going to be happy about. Because information is coming out from several different people. Paula's got material that she says she's going to be putting out there, and there's information coming out by someone directly associated with Lynn Wood that'll be coming out. Timothy picked the wrong person to get mad at him when he chose Lynn Wood. And I think Lynn Wood has reached a point where enough is enough, that he is going to take steps to get control of the situation and teach Timmy a lesson. So we'll just see where the information goes. Oh, thank you, Levi. That'll probably put me over the top. The last time I checked, that was $99.40. Tell you, anybody that wants to make money on YouTube, Super Chat is not the way to go. It takes forever to build it up. Yeah, you're probably correct, Blades. I got to get caught up on all of this stuff. I've been busy and I haven't been paying too much attention except for reading. So. Well, that just made Tenderhearted mad. Levi, Tenderhearted is accusing you of paying me off cheap. Levi is trying to pay you off cheap, only $4.99. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this Tenderhearted is in here again. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Probably make Tenderhearted mad, but, I really appreciate it, and I don't seek donations. But when you're in the income bracket I'm in, you'll take whatever comes our way. Ooh, he just let the cat out of the bag. Quite possible. Asking questions I will not answer. Some people just don't take a hint. Well, but since this is Saturday night, let me do my usual. I'm checking the court records for the Blanchard case to see if there's anything new. Because about the only thing that's going to happen from this time forward is we're going to have discovery. Okay. April 29th. Supplemental discovery exhibit. So we have new discovery on the 29th. Supplemental discovery exhibit in state of Florida versus Neely Petrie Blanchard. And names and addresses: McCardle, Lawrence A., Office of the State of Attorney, 5th Circuit. Tangible evidence: JPay letter from Ronald Knowles to Neely Petrie Blanchard. Now, what this needs to emphasize to people, if you are associated with someone who eventually gets criminally charged, there's a chance that your correspondence with that individual is going to be entered as evidence in that case and be available to the general public. Now, this email from Ronald Knowles to Neely Petrie Blanchard is now evidence in this case. And what is going to happen is, at the trial, all this stuff is going to be published. Right now, this letter is sealed. They're not putting it out there to the public. This is going to be considered and used either by the defense or the prosecution. And so this came to the state of Florida and was mailed to the defense attorney for Neely Blanchard. So we have new evidence coming into court in the form of a personal letter to Neely Blanchard. And we don't know when this letter was sent, and we do not know the contents of the letter. It was a JPEL letter. And so that's what we're going to find out. I want to do something since I'm checking the courts. Let me go. Come on, back up. Let's go to Duval County. CCC. Dixie, Bradford. Why are we not? Oh, Duval County's not in this? Huh. Well, that sucks. Alright, well, let me do a search this way. It's interesting. I didn't know Duval County was not in the system. Okay, let me go up here. Alright, I'm going to have to do this a different way. Yeah, I believe you're correct, Laurie. I think Knowles was associated with her. I think he was behind trying to get legal representation for her at one time. I have to refresh my memory on what was going on. Michael, you're correct. And as I said, because this happened in the Casey Anthony case. If you send a letter or donate to the commissary or anything, this stuff gets put in the public record. This is somewhat unique to the state of Florida. Because I have got 1,500 pieces of evidence that was released by the Orange County State Attorney at the time of the all the pre-trials that were put into effect. No, I have not. I've never been to Cuba. I have never been out of the continental United States, which means I've never been to Hawaii. It's the only way you would be able to go to Cuba is to go to the military installation there, Guantanamo, because there is an embargo against travel to Cuba. Kind of an interesting question. Uh, Now, there's been a lot of strange. Now, you mentioned the crush on Neely Blanchard. There, uh, there was um, a lot of talk about love triangles, sex going on. I believe there was an accusation against Kirk Pendergrass um, having an affair with, if not, um, weird, if not um, going after Neely, going after the significant other of Chris Hallett. That we had a lot of trading of partners going on, so to speak. And it was, orgies, all sorts of crazy things going on down there. Which was kind of funny because that house is a duplex. And I believe that Chris Hallett's mother lived in the other half of the building. That's all hearsay and gossip, and there's no confirmation of that. But that's what's out there. Um, well, it didn't really go off track because it's just kind of it's Phil, but I just kind of think it's an interesting question, but it shows you that people may not know very much about uh, passports, visas, where you can go, where you cannot go, and why you go. But except for a brief period of time, there has been no travel to Cuba by people from the United States. There was a legitimate period, there was a limited period of time under specific criteria you could visit Cuba, but that door has been closed. Um, so I do not believe there's such a thing as a tourist visa or an educational visa to Cuba. If I'm wrong, I will be stand to be corrected. But the only reason I would like to go to Cuba is because of all the old cars over there. They have got some classic cars over there. These people are creative. They keep 60, 70-year-old cars running over there, and mainly in the late 50s and early 60s. Because the United States doesn't import U.S.-made cars to Cuba. And so, it'd be nice to be able to get some of those classics out of the country. I'd make a fortune. Because I know people that would want to go there. Yeah, I don't believe Canada's restricted. This is a United States unique policy where Canada allows people to go down there, and I believe they go down for tourism. There may be some medical tourism going on. Not necessarily Canada, because they have a much better medical system than we do. But I don't know. I just don't pay that much attention to that stuff. And now, if anybody's been over to TimothyCharlesHolmseth.com, you'll notice that the latest posting on that blog is January 28th, 2022. And all that is there is his junk that's for sale. His t-shirt that says, "Believe me, I'm in the high command." The last article that was written there is on January 21st. Oh, it's been that long that Tim Holmseth has written anything on the blog. The last slander he wrote about me was in May 13th of 2020, May 12th of 2020. So the blog has been virtually abandoned. Now, on July 17th, okay, I don't know what that has to do with her being a trustee of the thing, but there's acting trustee publisher up there, but the only thing she's put is publisher's official statement regarding claims made by Craig Sawyer against Timothy Charles Holmseth. And this was, so they have virtually abandoned the blog. I lost count. I was named there. Montegraph was named there. I think Montegraph is at the top of Timmy's shit list because he happens to live in the state of Colorado. It's again, this is Timothy Charles Holmseth framing people. So. Oops. One of the reasons I brought the hypothetical up tonight was that the person repeats the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Yeah, Cuba's probably a scenic place and everything. It's, they do have it's got a lot of resort property there. It's just that because of politics, people are prohibited from going down there from this country. I guess if you wanted to go down there badly enough, you could do a workaround. But I would not trust myself to be in Cuba. It's a politically unstable government down there. And there's, like Mexico, there's a lot of violence. Yeah. But again, Paula, just because an article is signed Timothy Holmseth doesn't mean Timothy Holmseth wrote the article. It means that his name was used as a byline. You cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Timmy is writing anything. It's very difficult to prove something like that. And so you either believe that Tim Holmseth is writing all that crap or he's not. But the trustees have set themselves up because now that the lead trustee has named herself as the publisher of TimothyCharlesHolmseth.com, she has assumed all legal responsibility for what is contained on that blog and on all of the social media accounts. And this is what caused her to lose the case with Craig Sawyer. Now, this is a sealed case, and because of that, the arrest warrants that are out there are not public. I have been trying to do a workaround to get the information on this case, but I'm unable to do so right now. It's very difficult to get information out of a sealed case in either county or federal court. And so just have to wait and see if any of my inquiries pay off. But we can assume, based on general actions of the court, that there is at least a misdemeanor warrant, and I have been told that there is also a felony warrant against Randy Lynn Erickson. And it's felony contempt of court, is my understanding. And so we're just going to have to wait, because if and when Randy Erickson gets arrested, we'll know it. Because at that time, it becomes public record. So, Yeah, Wood would know if there's an arrest going on. Interesting. Whew. Yeah, that's correct, Paula. The everyone's name in that case, everything is sealed. So the arrest warrants out there are sealed warrants, and we won't know until either the court or somebody else decides to release the information or if an arrest takes place. Because once an arrest takes place, it's all out the window. Uh, well, it's my understanding that we're going in that direction. That he may have to file a restraining order along the lines of Lynn Wood. And I'm going to discuss the reason why tomorrow night. But things are going on right now in the background that is going to make uh, for a very upsetting time with Tim Holmseth and the gang. Uh, it's at a point right now where I can't confirm anything, but from what I have been told as late as this evening, is that there are things going on that uh, is going to change the rhetoric dramatically, and it's not gonna sit well with Tim or his uh, trustees. Hello, Alex. Thanks for stopping in. What did you see? Think of the song. I haven't heard the song yet. I know the existence of it, but I haven't heard it yet. I am going to listen to it. Um, but you've come very close to understanding what is going on because the tide is turning against Tim Homsa. Okay. Boy, man, just getting messages left and right tonight. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, where the heck did that come to? Okay, I'm getting. Oh, I see what this is about. It can be published and you don't have the right to complain since it was posted first. Well, if that's the case, why don't you publish it? Why are you leaving it to me to do all your dirty work for you? I'm not gonna get myself into a legal mess because of something you want. You want that material published, you publish it. I double dog dare you to publish it. Don't use this channel to publish it. You do it. Or are you a coward? That's to Lily Garfield, who wants me to publish things that I have told her 100,000 times that I'm not going to publish. This person, like Timmy, can't take no for an answer. I don't understand people. They want me to do things that, at the very minimum, is unethical, and that I've told them that I do not want to do this stuff, and they keep asking the same thing over and over and over. It's like the old vinyl records where that groove gets stuck and it keeps playing the same section over and over and over again. And that's what's going on here. I don't get it. When is this person going to take no for an answer? Really, No means no. It doesn't mean maybe. So, no to all your requests. Go do what I suggested. Jeez. These are the kind of people around Timmy. Amazing. The one on Spotify is about Osama. Okay. It's not what I thought. I was thinking something else. So we're trying to get politics mixed up in here again. Well, I don't care. Jeez. Weird people. Anyway. Yeah, it's just somebody desperate for attention again. She must be into the cooking sherry or something over there. Nothing else to do on a Saturday night except come in here and troll me. Troll me on Telegram. Another mental degenerate. Well, then you do it. There's no such thing as equal time on this channel. So, don't put your dirty work off on me. You're the coward here. This is the stupid person over on Telegram again. Really sad. This devotee to Timmy must not have a life of her own. I'm wondering, JS, what you're going to do when Timmy turns up dead. Answer that question. You got all these people hanging around Tim that are going to kill him. Boy, you sure know enough about Timmy's underwear. This JS is saying that Timmy has great underwear. I wonder how she knows that. Has JS just admitted something? Has JS seen Timmy in his underwear? The plot thickens. JS has seen Timmy in his underwear. Ooh. I wonder if she got blinded. Okay. Let me know if it's any good. Well, what's going to come out, which is the basis of my show tonight, Macy, is that it is my belief that Timmy is getting set up, that he's going to have a Julius Caesar moment, and the trustees, are going to try and profit from it, literally. Because if you look at Chris Hallett and Cappy and Mr. Steele and some of these other people out there that have been made martyrs after they died for the cause, that's what's going on. So that's where... You're kidding me. Timothy wrote a song about underwear. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to listen to that one. I mean, that's about as retarded as people are over there. That explains why he needs institutionalization. But, JS certainly knows about Timmy's underwear. Mark, and Timmy is upset about that song. In the recent video that he put up on Bitchute, he's not a happy camper about that song. And unfortunately for him, this is only the beginning. Well, of course he did. That's all he's capable of, JS. I mean, that's how retarded Tim Holmseth is. He writes songs about people's underwear. Amazing. The Dr. Binney was interesting indeed. Okay, we are coming up on. Where am I? We are coming up on the 2 hour mark, and I think I'm going to close out. I want to start. There's a couple things I want to clear up on another area. Now, I will likely be back on the air tomorrow night with this new information and how things might be developing that is not going to look good for Timmy and the trustees. And it's along the same path that happened with Nellie Blanchard. Or not Nellie Blanchard. Well, yeah, technically Nellie Blanchard and Cynthia Abzug. So stay tuned for that one. Oh, I like that picture, by the way. This is what Timmy's jealous of. Picture of Alex at the Tribeca Film Festival because of the movie she was in. That Timmy was extremely angry when that movie came out because he's not in a movie. He's not on CNN Live talking about her research into the Steubenville rape case. I mean, Alex was and is much more famous than Timmy would ever hope to be. Timmy has never, ever been on CNN, and he is so angry about it. And so is, well, if he isn't, he should be. And why is a woman talking about men's underwear? So strange. Okay. Think I'm going to call it tonight. I really appreciate people showing up. It's a halfway decent show tonight. I gave information out of a hypothetical murder. Now, this is not a death threat. I'm not plotting anything. I'm saying this is a what if. It's a fantasy. So, if you go over and start writing stupid shit on Gab, Telegram, Bitchute, and elsewhere, you're just lying to yourselves and to your cult. Because if anybody does anything to Timothy Charles Holmseth, it's going to be the trustees or someone they set up as a scapegoat. Mark my words. This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and have a good one. I will try and see you guys tomorrow night. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to share. I think I left that one out.